Hello, ladies. This is Irva, and welcome to my channel. We do women empowerment, defying the odds. And today I have with us a special guest, Janice Smith. I've known Janice for years, and no, she doesn't look her age at all, but I've known her a really long time. And that's one of the ladies I could really tell you that can tell you about value and empowerment. And she's changed her careers, and she's going to tell us a little bit of that and what she does now. So, Janice, who are you? Tell us.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on your channel. I really like We Do. I think it's so awesome what you're doing. To answer
Thank
your
you.
question, um, I find my value in knowing God. So for me personally, I'm easygoing person. I go with the flow, but I love to worship. I love my God,
Mm-hmm.
and that God gives me purpose in
Mm-hmm.
my life.
Wow.
So he directs me. He just makes everything make sense to me, just
Yes.
knowing him.
Yes.
So yeah.
Cool. I feel like we started church real early today. So, so preach
Ch-
on.
Church is it, man. Church
I
is it.
honestly, well, listen, that's another sermon and another testimony and another video in itself. But
Yes,
thanks for
yes.
that. So tell us a little about yourself. But Janice Smith.
Okay. Um, Janice Smith, like I said, I believe in God. I love God, and therefore
Mm-hmm.
God gives me that direction that I want to do. I
Mm-hmm.
say I'm easygoing. So easygoing, love to cycle, love to walk because I love the outdoors, and those are the
Yes.
two things that I like the most doing. I love serving people, which
Mm.
leads me into my career as the community engagement coordinator for ADRA Canada, and
Nice.
also as the owner of Future Occasions event planning company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about serving. So that's a little bit about me, and yeah, I could go
Okay.
on some more, but yeah, we
Okay,
don't have
well,
much time.
so
Yeah.
you know what though, and you talked about future occasions, and we can see that the back ladies and all my viewers, and it's very beautiful. I love the background there, the tree and future occasions. So that's Janice's business or your company. Okay,
Yes.
but before we go into future occasions, and I know you work for ADRA Canada now, which you'll tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about shortly. Was that something you always did? I believe you changed career at some point in your life. So just tell us about what caused the switch, or what happened there with as much as you want to
Yeah.
tell us.
Okay. So, well, I've been an event planner. It's what, 21 years now since I've been an
Wow,
event
time
planner?
flies.
Yes, yes. But in between being an event planner, I have done different administrative, when it
Hmm.
used to be called a secretary, office coordinator, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. So I was always doing some kind form of work where I was coordinating
Ah.
something, right, in the office. Um, my last part of my career, just before I switched over to ADRA, I was working in customer service.
Hmm.
And for me, it was almost, for me at the time, it was like stepping backwards because I wasn't sure where God was taking me with
Yeah.
this whole event planning thing.
Hmm.
And I learned so much from working in customer service, how to talk to people, how
Yes.
to de escalate,
Hmm.
you know, and, just relating to people of all different culture because we're
Hmm.
all in the mix.
Hmm.
And then one day I got a call, and that's how my career changed somewhat.
Hmm.
Um, I got a call from no, I didn't get a call. I saw an ad
Hmm.
for an event planner for ADRA Canada,
Oh wow.
and yes, and I got a few calls from my friends who said, "Janice, this is you."
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because I was
Hmm.
an ADRA ambassador at Toronto West.
Hmm.
So they were like, perfect position. But here's
Hmm.
a joke. I didn't want to take it, Irva, because
Why?
they asked for degree.
Oh,
They
okay.
wanted a degree in public relations or
Hmm.
marketing or whatever. So I'm going to say to women out there, I didn't want to take the position because I was like, no, I don't have a degree,
Hmm.
marketing or public relations. But I had public relations experience because I worked in
Mm-hmm.
a public relations company. I had marketing because I did my business management diploma. So I
Yeah.
was already knocking myself down. And
Yes.
the supervisor at the time told me to apply. And I said, no, I don't want to apply. I don't want to embarrass myself. And I sent in my resume, and the next day I got an interview. And the
Mm.
next day I was told pretty well within the next week or so that I had the job.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
yeah, it's a wow to me. I'm glad you said wow, because I feel wow myself. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you prepared me for this,
Oh my
right?
goodness. Could I?
Hmm.
Okay, listen, and I'm glad you said that when you said you were knocking yourself down. Because a lot of the times, and I've had friends, I remember there's one friend who I wouldn't name over the years, and there's positions that she'll see, oh, I don't think, and she's been doing this, has the experience of doing similar things and transferable skills for years. Oh, I don't
Yes,
think because I don't do this, I don't have this. And we knock ourselves down. And I always say, just
yes,
try. You never know. And if they want you, they'll hire you and use all your
ex-
transferable skills. Look here, before you even got the job, you're already telling yourself and discouraging yourself from applying for the job. But God's
mhm.
better, so God knows best. So let's go on.
Yeah, and that's a thing that we do. We don't realize how God is preparing us. Because I remember when I started my business as an event planner,
Hmm.
I started over at a time where I was going through a lot of things emotionally. And
Hmm.
I honestly believe that God's put this in my way just to keep me.
Wow.
And I feel like sometimes as women, we don't think we should have something for ourselves,
Hmm.
right? And I
Hmm.
think God gave me that just to keep my sanity, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and I, I started planning events, and yeah, I had the naysayers as usual when you're doing
Hmm.
everything.
Yes.
I doubted myself. I even had one person that said they wanted to destroy me. I was just like, what? But I want to tell you something. God prepares you for what He wants you to do,
Yes. Yes. It's
right?
true. Yes.
Yes,
Hmm.
and he put the things in your way. Just keep doing it. Like,
Yes.
I have people that ask me, I shouldn't say people because people always seem like a whole bunch of
Hmm.
people. But I had one or two persons ask me, how do you know what your purpose is? Or, I'm stuck doing this. Why am I doing this?
Hmm.
God is working out your purpose for you.
Yes.
Just
Hmm.
take it one step at a time, and He's
Yes.
leading you. Just
Hmm.
depend on Him. And that's why I started with I love God. He makes things make sense,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Okay,
So,
listen, it's true. And when it comes to, I like the purpose part too, because yes, God makes things make sense. And sometimes it's not your purpose yet, or it's not your calling yet. Just keep doing what you're doing and trust God. It's gonna work
mhm,
out for you. And I want to put a plug there because that's one of my favorite. I always look the things that we can't see in the future because we only can
yes,
see in our present right now. But there's so many wonderful, marvelous things ahead of us that God's preparing for us that we're not even ready to open and receive because we're just so caught up in the now. But guys,
yeah,
honestly, listen, Janice' story. Trust God. He has it way planned out in the future for you. So tell us, Janice. So now you're working at ADRA, you got the job. But tell us, how was that something that your family was excited about? You go to your husband like, listen, I got this job. And tell us, where is your office? That's probably important.
okay. Let me start with where my office is, and then I
Yes.
can tell you all the things that happened.
Yes.
So I got offered the position. And when I was offered the position, I was in customer service for 1 year,
Mhm.
1 year exact when
Wow.
I got offered the position. So I thought ADRA was in Oshawa. ADRA is in Newcastle.
Where is
That's
that?
another half an hour east of Oshawa. So I'm coming from Brampton. So
Mhm.
that's an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in traffic
Oh
to
my.
get to Newcastle. So
Yeah.
here, yeah. So
The
here's the
stumbling
thing.
blocks along the way. Eh?
Exactly. So here are the things that come out of concern. So the first thing was I have an underlying condition.
Mhm.
So traveling back and forth makes me stiff. I
Mhm.
get excessively tired, whatever. So my husband Vernon, he's an engineer. He start listing all the risk. You
Yes.
know, Jan, you know what's going to happen. You might flare.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
he's he's listing them and say, you know what, are you sure you want to do this? It's a lot of traveling you're going to do.
mhm.
And then there's my daughters who said, Mom, this is it. This is event planning. This is
Your
what you want
thing.
to do.
Yes.
We're not at home.
Yeah.
So the other option, and Vernon start looking, who can I stay with out there?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
all that was like, oh my gosh, there's all these obstacles right now. What am I gonna do? So
mhm.
we start, he's calling people, I am calling people, trying to find who is out there
Yeah.
that I can stay with. Then
Mhm.
finally, my friend called and said, why don't you try these guys? So I tried that guy and he said, well, no, my house is too small and I have kids. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Try this guy. So we tried somebody else that lives in Curtis. She
Yes, so
was home.
closer. Yeah.
Yes, she had a whole big house to herself. So they told me to come.
And you're like, well, prayer is answered. But Janice,
Yes.
I mean, and a few women who's been on the show, a few of my guests who's been married, and you have the luxury. So in this case, your husband was willing to let you go,
Hmm.
to follow your dreams or your career or something that was really important to you. So women, that is very nice to my male viewers out there who support their spouses and their partners. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna put a plug because for Father's Day, we're gonna have an episode with supportive husbands and spouses. So lucky you, you have a supportive husband. Because how many women can say, "My husband, sure, go to Newcastle, and sure, you can work and come home on the weekends."
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah,
Mhm.
he encouraged me and I went out and here I am. So I'm Monday to Thursdays I'm home, and I work out there. And then yeah, and then of course COVID happens. So I work from home now, even better.
See, listen. I'm one. I mean, it is what it is. However, there's a
Yeah.
lot of positives that you can take from this bad situation. You get to work
Yes.
from home, doing exactly what you love, right?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
know you take trips, and so well, tell us a little more about what is the event planning and what you do at ADRA. And I know you travel and stuff like that. So just tell us a little more about that. For
Okay.
ADRA,
So
who doesn't know what's ADRA?
Okay, for sure. So ADRA is an acronym
Mm-hmm.
for Adventist Development and Relief Agency. We're
Mm-hmm.
the humanitarian arm of the Adventist Church, but we don't just cater to Adventists. We
Mm-hmm.
cater to any ethnicity, any gender.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, no political affiliation stops us or religion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we are organization that's part of a worldwide network that reaches out to over 100 countries. We used
Mm-hmm.
to be 130 countries, but of course, because of the climate we're in right now with COVID, with all kind
Yeah.
of natural disasters, civil wars, all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
we're reaching a little over 100 countries right now. We
Okay.
do development and we do emergency relief.
Okay.
We're an organization, it's humanitarian. So we go in when there's a disaster or if there's a project that we have assessed and we
Mm-hmm.
see that they need help. Our motto is justice, compassion, and love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the compassion is there, the justice is there, the love is
The
there,
love
and
is
that's
there.
what we do. Yeah, yeah,
So hold on. So let's back up a little because and when I thought of you in event planning, and I'm going to assume here, ladies and gents, weddings and parties and those sort of stuff. So event planner with organization that's providing relief. What kind of events? Like, what do you guys do?
okay. So my job as a community engagement coordinator
Mm-hmm.
is to engage people like yourself
Mm-hmm.
to make you aware of ADRA, but I also plan all their fundraising events. My job
Ah,
is to encourage you, give you an experience that allows you to give. So right now we're doing the CAP ride, which is the Africa no, sorry, the Canada Africa Partnership Ride. That's a fundraiser that goes towards our project in Niger and Sudan.
Ah,
I also do Hoops of Hunger, and you're familiar with that from
yes, yes,
Toronto
of
West,
course, yes,
right? We're
yes.
doing everything virtual now, and that's
Mhm.
going towards food projects. Like, for
Mm,
example, St. Vincent right now,
yes.
we're providing 300 meals a day to St. Vincent's and
Wow.
intend to do more. So Hoops of Hunger fundraises for that. So my job is to get out there, meet people, engage them in the
Mhm.
experiential activity to raise funds for the projects.
Wow, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. And I can tell you want to do the right person for that because you're already engaging me. You know, she's really passionate about it, guys.
I
She's like,
love this stuff. I love this stuff.
so hold on. So honestly, tell us, let's talk a little about self-doubt. And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but
Okay.
since you
No, it's
brought it
okay.
up,
Hmm.
what's going through your mind and kind of take us through the process of getting yourself out of that place. If for the people, for the viewers that's having that issue, to, you know, man, I like to change, you know, I like to do something different, but because yes, there are lots of buts. And I'm gonna say that there, ladies, and just, you know, I'm an Adventist too, and the stumbling blocks. When God puts
Yeah.
send things your way, the stumbling blocks come.
Hmm.
Don't be discouraged though. You know, stay focused, stay in track, pray, get over them. God, just remind yourself, if you got to tell the devil he's a liar, God put you in this position. So tell us about your mindset in trying to change, to get over those little hurdles. Not just the location thing, because thank God that was solved. You were able to find somebody, but even getting yourself mentally prepared to apply and interview for this job that you already thought you weren't really qualified for.
Okay. Yeah. I had a lot of self-doubts. Like,
Hmm.
when I was brought up in the West Indies.
Hmm.
So in the West Indies where well, you know what? Let me not say the whole of the West Indies. I was brought up in Jamaica.
Hmm.
I was raised in a home that kids don't speak. Be
Most of
seen
us.
but not,
Yes.
right? Be seen but not heard.
Yes.
So you know, you go through life doubting yourself, can I really do this? Can I do that?
Hmm.
Can I speak up for this? Can I speak up for that? And whatever. As I said in the beginning, what really turned me around was the fact that I knew God. I started to get to know God,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to believing. Although, no, I shouldn't even say although. God put people in your way just
Yes.
to encourage you. And it may
Yes.
not be your family. Like my family supported me going forward, but some of us, it may not be our family. It
Mm-hmm.
may be that friend that calls you up and say, "This job is yours.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
for it."
Yes. Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
you made a good point. The stumbling blocks are always there. Of course, the
Mm-hmm.
devil is always trying to do things to whack you over the head and
Yes.
make you feel like you can't accomplish anything,
Mm-hmm.
and push all the past back into your mind and say, well, you did this and you didn't do that well, and you blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. But when you believe that God loves you, I remember the day that the light bulb went on, that God loves me no matter what, and he's got
Yes.
my back.
Mm-hmm.
God sees me,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and he loves me just the way I am,
Mm-hmm.
simple as I am. I used to have a hard time with, speaking, stumbling over words, finding the right words, can't complete a sentence because I doubted myself. I didn't
Yes.
have any
Yeah.
confidence. But once I learned that God loved me just the way I am, he
Yes.
started to make people talk to me. I had one girl come to me one day and she said, "You know what I like about you? You make people feel comfortable." I went, "What? I never heard that before." She goes, "Yeah, you make people feel comfortable." And then my boss, she said to me when I start having down, I say, I'm not a good writer, and I start doubting myself. She goes, "Janice, I hired you just because of who you are."
Wow.
And just as she goes, "We'll never change anything about you." So
Mm-hmm.
God knows what he prepares you for,
Mm-hmm.
and he fits you right where he wants you to be.
Yes. Yes. So, ladies, don't don't let self-doubt and the negative thoughts and negative things that go through your mind prevent you from getting your gift or your purpose, get into your purpose that God has already ordained for you. Because God ordained it for you doesn't mean you're going to get it. Because if you continue down this path, no, Lord, I'm not going to apply, and you let all this doubt distract you and take you away from your God-given purpose, yeah, you wouldn't get it. So it's good that you at least followed, you followed your heart, you followed your dream, you listened to God's call, and stop doubting ourselves. And I like the fact that you brought up growing up, and this is not a West Indian show, but most of us here are from the West Indies. And um, this week I was having a chat with someone from Grenada who was telling me about, children in the Western culture being rude. And I said, not so, kids are rude wherever you go. However, what I discovered here, though, is that at a young age here, kids are allowed to talk. Kids are allowed to express themselves. And I think for us, you're right. So we kind of grew up with the shy-ish mentality. We're not sure. We have to ask permission. We're doubting ourselves because, yeah, we are grew up adults talking. You can't be close. You can't just talk and say your opinion. There's no opinions, It's like your parents say this. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And thank God that we can change that with our kids, right? The future generations don't have to
Yeah.
struggle this way. So that's that's empowerment. So you have a good boss, and you said God placed you in the right environment, which is always a really good thing because sometimes you're not placed in the right environment, but in your case you were. um, Tell me a little though, because I know you went on, you guys go overseas, and tell me about, give us a little bit of some traveling experience as quickly as you can.
Okay. All right. So my first opportunity to travel was
Mhm.
going to Eswatini,
Where
which
is that?
right? That's
Where's
in
that?
Africa.
Oh,
Eswatini, right?
okay.
In Swazi, known as Swaziland, but
Okay,
it's now
okay.
called Eswatini. So
Uh-huh.
that was my first opportunity. But guess what? I got sick. I
Oh
couldn't
boy.
go. All
Oh.
right. My second one was to go to Rwanda. Guess what happened? I got sick. I didn't get to go. My third one was going to Honduras. Guess what? I end up going on that one. So it's, you know what? God knows, man.
Mhm.
God knows. And that's how I chalked it up to. That God knows. So I went to Honduras. We went to help the people in Hocomiko build chicken coops.
Oh
And,
wow.
and yeah,
Hold on.
and
Look at you, this Canadian girl, going to build chicken coops. But go ahead.
but check it out. My past, I lived in the country. I lived in the
Ah.
country.
Mhm.
We lived on a hill,
Mhm.
well, on the mountain. So we had to walk. It felt like mountain, but as a child, you just run up, no
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So the houses were actually on the sides of the mountain. So
Mhm.
we call her Gong Gong, which is grandma, was
Mhm.
on one level. Then on the next level is Grandpa and the uncles, and we just keep walking up the hill. So
Wow.
when I went to Hokomiko, guess what? The housing were the same way. We had
Welcome
to
home.
climb up, we had to drive up goat trails. Just it wasn't roads, it was actually goat trails to get to the families. And these people walk for miles. Oh my gosh,
Hmm.
because there's no transportation. So we went there. It was dry season, so the
Mhm.
riverbed was dry, but they had a lot of wild chickens. So the idea of building the chicken coop is so that they could capture the chicken and it becomes part of their livelihood in terms
Oh,
of food,
yeah.
market, eggs. So
Mhm.
I went with Kingsway
Mhm.
College.
Mhm.
So 28 students and
Mhm.
teachers. We went with one of my pastor friends,
Mhm.
and we spent almost 3 weeks
Wow.
there building chicken coops. It was the most awesome time
Mhm.
there. The families were absolutely, they were so hospitable.
Mhm.
They were so happy, you
Mhm.
know. And here in Western lifestyle, we live in our homes and sometimes we complain about our apartments. But if you saw the huts and where they
Yes.
lived,
Yeah.
but they were happy. They were happy
Yeah.
who they were and who they are. And it was just absolutely a very exciting trip for me. And then we
Hmm.
came back just before COVID hit.
Would you have stayed? I'm just joking. But quite a humbling experience. And,
Yes,
when you see what, and I wish every student or every child could experience that to see how other children live and the
yes.
hardship that they go through with a smile on their face, though.
Hmm.
So, but I'm glad that you were able to experience that humbling experience with some students and come back and share the experience with us. So we have a few minutes left. Um, Anything you want to tell my viewers out there? Anything you want to tell any woman or guy that's struggling to make a decision, or who would
Yeah.
have thought, just receptionist and if doing your little event planning on the side kind of would take you to Honduras and around the world now. So,
Mhm.
anything you want to share with the viewers?
Yes, I definitely want to do that. I just want to repeat that. And I'm not trying to convert anyone, but
Hmm.
I just want to let them know that when God designs something for you,
Hmm.
He designs it specifically for you,
Yes.
right? Sometimes we get that vision and we go and tell everybody, and they're like, no, you can't do this. No, you can't, blah, 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 blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. That vision was never meant for them. It was
Yes.
meant for
For
you.
you.
And
Hmm.
He prepared the pathway for you. So
Hmm.
just take it one step at a time,
Hmm.
talk to God about it, and just
Hmm.
step right into your dream.
Yes.
Just go for it. Just go
Yes,
for it.
I like that. And one of my previous guests it says, step into your God-given purpose.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say something which it's, last night I was thinking about it, and now the time's right to say. I was
Yeah.
talking about opportunities with someone, and
Yeah.
I was saying sometimes not every opportunity is your opportunity. That's the first
Hmm.
point. In this case, though, yes, you have to listen, and that was your God-given purpose that God assigned and ordained for you.
Hmm.
What I wanted to point to, because you're like, yeah, they're the naysayers and stuff like that. Someone told me they saw in a church once, opportunity knocks, but temptation comes banging. So I'm going to use that to say
Mm.
sometimes the naysayers and the negative thoughts, your opportunity is there. You can't even pay attention to it because the negativity on the outside is so, your parents, your friends, oh, you can't do it, don't do it. Your thoughts telling you can't do it, and you're missing your God given purpose. So, guys, block it out. I say it all the time. Forget the negativity. Temptation bangs, but when God got you, you got to let that stay wherever it is. Rebuke it in the name of Jesus and follow and listen and follow your God given purpose. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for your testimony. I really, well, I said testimony was a testimony, wasn't it? So,
Yeah.
thank you. Because we're preaching up here. We having like women study here. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And I really like the fact, you brought out a lot
Yeah.
of things about, I like the self doubt because we really do, not just as
Mhm.
women, I find Caribbean, but women, yes, we really do put a lot of pressure on ourselves and doubt ourselves. So, ladies,
Yeah.
if you get the call, if you're not even sure, talk to God, pray about it, spend some time with yourself, figure it out. You don't have to have the degree to do it. Talk to God, talk to a friend, not the one that's going to discourage you in every single thing, because you got those, right? But
And
there's some
and and you know what? There's nothing wrong with hearing the other side because you
true
need that balance,
balance,
but
yes.
you need to figure out if this person, if this is God sent for you,
Hmm.
and make the decision and
Hmm.
then go for it on faith,
Yes.
right?
Yes, go for it. Yeah, don't decide the answer yourself because God probably already had the answer for you. Just go in faith and let God decide the outcome for you. So Janice, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate this chat. I can see why you're the event coordinator. So, but Ladies and all my viewers are there, thank you. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe, pass it on to a friend. If anybody has a story or journey, any woman, I know I got men, they want to share the story, but it is a woman's empowerment. So send your wife and we'll definitely view it and help
Yeah.
encourage someone and empower someone. And every story, honestly, guys, it really empowers me. Like everybody's story, you leave here going, wow, wow, that's so nice. And today my one is the self-doubt. So thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Hit subscribe and like. Thanks, Janice.
You're welcome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.